Hello, it is time for our Bible study Bible plan. Revelation Explained, Part 1, Day 5 of 7. We're back in Revelation 2 as Jesus writes 7 letters to 7 churches. Now remember, Jesus is telling John to send these letters to 7 real churches back in 95 AD. But in each letter, we also find a glimpse of the future. Well, future then, past and present for us. Each church letter bears an uncanny resemblance to the Christian church as a whole, in particular period of history. History now, future then, you know what I mean. Do you? Forget it. Yeah, I'm just using my phone camera, so it's going to be darker. But I'm hoping the sound will be better. If not, I give up. You guys are just going to have to crank up whatever you have. I don't know. Now, you're probably wondering when we're going to get to the end of the world stuff in Revelation. Where's the apocalypse? Remember, Revelation is about revealing Jesus, revealing God's plan for the world. That includes an end times, and we'll be there soon. But God wants us to see the whole picture. In the church age, Jesus reveals himself to and through the church. It's also important because God's plan for tomorrow has bearing today, and the coolest thing to me is that the most of this is prophecy that already came true in chapters 2 and 3. We get a 2,000-year review of church history, but it was written in 95 AD. That's pretty amazing. Now, it doesn't give names and dates, and it doesn't even claim to be predictive, but judge for yourself as we go. I think it's amazing. Now, letter number 2 begins in Revelation chapter 2, verse 8. To the angel of the church of Smyrna write. Smyrna was a city on the here we go with the hard words. Aegean coast. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Today, it's in Turkey, and the city is now called Izmir. I actually lived there as a toddler. The word Smyrna comes from myrrh. Myrrh! A spice that you may remember from the wise men story. Myrrh is a burial spice. It smells wonderful, but when you only get that smell when myrrh is crushed. Smyrna is the persecuted church living in affliction and poverty. But just like that, myrrh, when the church was crushed, it revealed something wonderful to the persecuted. Jesus reveals himself in verse 8 as the first and the last who died and came to life again. Jesus conquers death, and the persecuted church needed to know it. I know your afflictions and your poverty, yet you are rich. And that's in chapter 2, verse 9. In other words, they can take your job, they can take your house, they can take your life, but they cannot take your true riches. And Jesus tells them, you are rich. Beginning around 100 AD, the Caesars of Rome persecuted Christians, burned at the stake, given to beasts in arenas for sport, and that is terrifying. Like, they probably fed him to tigers and lions and stuff. And I mean, we're talking whole families, like babies too. I just cannot. But you gotta do what you gotta do. They're burned at the stake, given to beasts in arenas for sport, because everybody just thought that was just, it's entertainment. Ugh. And driven to live in catacombs below the earth. But Jesus says in verse 10, do not be afraid of what you're about to suffer. I tell you, the devil will put some of you in prison to test you, and you will suffer persecution for 10 days. 10 days here may picture the 10 waves of persecution that hit between 100 and 300 AD. More than 6 million Christians were killed. But Jesus says, be faithful even to the point of death, and I will give you life as your victor's crown. Then verse 11, whoever has ears, let them hear when the Spirit says to the churches, the one who is victorious will not be hurt at all by the second death. Second death is the one that sends you to hell. And the persecuted church could not be touched by it. So what happened to the church under persecution? Amazingly, it spread. Roman persecution forced the church out into the whole world, and wherever they went, they shared their faith. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. Might as well just get it over with. Persecution also purified and unified the church. Hypocrites don't survive long after threat of death, but genuine faith stands the test. Read the letter to Smyrna if you are facing persecution. Jesus says, do not be afraid, rejoice. Great is your reward. If you are not persecuted, that's good. But remember, those who are, Hebrews 13 says, remember those in prison as if you were together with them. And that's Hebrews 13, verse 3. Today's Christians are persecuted across the globe. More Christians were killed for their faith in the 20th century than every previous century combined. If God moves your heart about this, please find more at persecution.com. The ministry is a voice of the martyrs. Go to persecution.com and you can read stories, find out how to pray and how to make a difference, and even write letters to believers in jail. J.K. Chesterton noted this. He said, Jesus promised his disciples three things: that they would be completely fearless, absurdly happy, and in constant trouble. We're going to have to check out that persecution.com. Yeah, persecution.com. Okay, why isn't it going to the next page? What's going on? Okay. I had to back out and go in a different way, but that's all right. Revelation 2, verse 8 through 11. And the angel of the church of Smyrna write, These things says the first and the last, who was dead and came to life. I know your works, tribulation, and poverty, but you are rich, and I know the blasphemy of those who say they are Jews and are not, but are a synagogue of Satan. Do not fear any of those things which you are about to suffer. Indeed, the devil is about to throw some of you in prison, that you may be tested, and you will have tribulation 10 days. Be faithful until death, and I will give you the crown of life. He who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches. He who overcomes shall not be hurt by the second death. And that's it. Till tomorrow. Good job. So let's just hope this turns out. Bye for now.